Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It's Saturday morning and a bit of a depressingly dull morning here in Northern England. In this video we're going to talk about Barry Morphew and the people who are launching a Barry is not guilty of this and someone else is defence. I think the line that his defence will go with this time, if indeed Barry is rearrested for the murder of his wife Suzanne, they'll go with there's a serial killer angle. There's unknown male DNA on Suzanne's possessions and there are other people who are missing in the same area, including a woman called Edna Quintana. And if you don't know who she is, well, go and watch the live stream that I did yesterday morning over on my other channel, Michelle Walks. She's 55. Suzanne was 49 when she was reported missing. They both went missing in the first half of May, although 3 years apart. So, you know, there's enough there for a crafty defence to say that, there's a serial killer operating in the area and Suzanne was a victim. And because all the focus was on Barry the first time round, then, the cops had tunnel vision. So they've got a right to say that. They've got a right to defend the client. And it's important the defence is rigorous. So I have been asked to do a video talking about the timeline. And I will do that, but I'll do that in the form of a live stream. That's either going to be today or tomorrow over on Michelle Walks. In this video, though, we're going to concentrate on the DNA. Let's go. This is the probable cause affidavit from the first time round, and there are some CBI laboratory results that we're going to read through. CBI being the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. On June 3rd, 2020, the CBI laboratory, hereafter CBI Lab, provided the results of DNA analysis for Suzanne's case. 65 evidence items to include DNA buccal swabs from the Morphew family members, Andrew Moman, who is Suzanne's brother, who was out searching for her, and others were listed. Of note, no workable DNA was recovered from the bobcat blade, the dart box, because a cap off a tranquilizer dart was found in Barry and Suzanne's washing machine, actually their dryer. On August 31st, 2020, Special Agent Gruesing reviewed the lab results with the CBI Lab forensic scientist Caitlin Rogers. To discuss results relevant to this affidavit, the following items were noted. The DNA on the bicycle seat included a mixture of 4 people. So if you remember, Barry suggested that Suzanne could have gone out for a bike ride and then have been kidnapped or something horrible happened to her while she was out there. And her bike was found, and in a different location, her helmet was found. So it kind of fit the suggestion that Barry put forward that Suzanne was out for a bike ride and something bad happened. So they tested the bike. The DNA on the bicycle seat included a mixture of 4 people, Suzanne being the primary, with Barry and one of the responding personnel being included. The 4th male is unknown. And we've got a footnote here. The mixture is at least 12 decillion, that's a lot of zeros, times more likely to be observed if it originated from Barry Morphew, Caricato, who is one of the responding personnel, Suzanne Morphew, and an unknown, unrelated individual, than if it originated from Suzanne Morphew and 3 unknown, unrelated individuals. That's very strong support. The important part for Barry's defence is that there was a 4th male who touched that bicycle seat at some point. The DNA on the bicycle grips included a DNA mixture of 4 people, Suzanne and Sergeant Mullinax being the primary contributors. Barry was excluded. The DNA on the bicycle brakes and handlebars included a mixture of 4 people. Suzanne, Deputy Brown and Deputy Himmershoot were primary contributors, Barry was excluded. It's mainly Suzanne and responding personnel who would all have given DNA samples, would be in the system, so if at some point they touched that without gloves or somehow their DNA got on these items, they can exclude them. It continues to talk about other items. So this is the white Land Rover that was Suzanne's. The front driver door was tested and the DNA was consistent with samples from Barry and Suzanne. I think that would be the daughters, or two people, two blanks, were excluded. A plastic hypodermic cover collected from the dryer. A low-level partial DNA mixture of two people were recovered, with Suzanne and blank being possible contributors. Barry was excluded as a contributor, so that's interesting. A dart needle was collected, submitted as dart from box in garage, and that was swabbed. A partial DNA profile was developed with Barry included as a contributor with moderate support. The dart body, submitted as a dart from box in garage, was swabbed. Low-level DNA profile, so somebody could have been a contributor. The interior cushions of the helmets, this is Suzanne's bike helmet, were tested and a partial profile was developed. The mixture was more likely to involve Barry and Suzanne than coming from anywhere else, as a factor of 6.2 times. It makes sense that Barry is going to come up as a DNA profile. The daughters are going to come up as DNA profiles, potentially. That's why they're all tested, because they all live in the same house. So, you know, this is touch DNA. Touch DNA can get on items for a whole variety of reasons. So none of that is really concerning or unexpected. The only unexpected, worthy of note things is this unknown male DNA. That can be used as, well, law enforcement don't know who that comes from. That could be the kidnapper. This subject became very hot, and I think it will continue to be hot, because I've had lots of comments. What about this unknown male DNA? And the plot did thicken in the days of Barry's preliminary hearing from the first time round. And the defence claimed that the prosecution held back exculpatory evidence. And this all came out at the preliminary hearing. So let's read this write-up from the Denver Post that was written at the time of Barry's preliminary hearing. So the 4-day preliminary hearing enters its final day. Barry Morphew murder case. DNA found in Suzanne Morphew's car matches partial samples from unsolved essays. So this certainly set the cat amongst the pigeons. Investigators found male DNA on the glove box in Suzanne Morphew's car that corresponds with partial DNA profiles found in 3 unsolved essay cases in different states. Okay, the partial DNA profile developed from the glove box DNA matched with profiles developed in unsolved essays in Chicago, Phoenix, and Tempe. CBI agent Joseph Cahill confirmed during questioning by Barry Morphew's defence attorney Iris Aiton. The new information, which wasn't in the PCA, came Tuesday as Barry Morphew's defence attorneys tried to convince a Chaffey County judge that prosecutors do not have enough evidence to prosecute their client for allegedly murdering his wife in May 2020. Morphew's attorney, Drew Nielsen, pleaded with the judge to decide on the bail issue immediately so her client didn't have to continue to wait in jail. She said she didn't believe the prosecution provided enough evidence to justify continuing to hold Morphew without bail, and he was bailed. He did get out on bail. During the 4 days of testimony, however, neither prosecutors nor the case's lead investigators provided evidence about how Morphew allegedly killed his wife or how he allegedly disposed of her remains. The 130-page arrest affidavit was sealed at this point. It only was unsealed after. So here it says the judge will decide September 17th whether it will be made public. Murphy sealed the affidavit, citing Morphew's right to a fair trial and the need to protect the Morphew's 2 daughters. Well, this PCA was very long because it contained all the interviews from Barry and various people. You really have to sift through to find the really important parts. It's difficult to put it all together in a cogent argument. So I think if Barry is rearrested, I would suggest that they completely rewrite that PCA and make it more focused. There will potentially be more evidence now that Suzanne's body is found based on the autopsy, if that is able at this point after 3 years to find a cause of death, but also the location that she was found will become more relevant. So prosecutors tried to downplay the validity of the DNA matches while cross-examining Cale. Cale said the forensic scientist described the glove box DNA as limited genetic data because it was partial profile. The duo of defence attorneys elicited testimony from investigators that did not support the prosecutor's theory of the alleged crime. Under questioning by defence attorney Nielsen, retired FBI agent Jonathan Grusing said that multiple dogs trained to detect decomposing bodies did not alert to such evidence in Barry Morphew's truck. The defence also played body camera footage that showed Chaffey County Sheriff's deputies stating that they didn't believe a tranquilizer dart gun found in Morphew's gun safe functioned. The prosecutors repeatedly brought up the tranquilizer gun, empty darts and a cap found in the dryer that is used with the syringe to fill the darts and tranquilizer chemicals. None of the prosecution's witnesses explicitly said whether, how or when they believed Morphew used the tranquilizer gun on Suzanne. That Morphew's defence attorneys focused some of their questioning on statements their client made to investigators about how he loved his wife. Morphew told investigators he covered nearly 200 square miles searching for Suzanne in the months after she disappeared. This partial DNA profile on the glove box and the unknown male contributor DNA on parts of the bike, I think, does need exploration. Now, the glove box DNA, how is that relevant? Because Suzanne's car was at the house. So if Suzanne went for a bike ride and was abducted during the bike ride, then yes, the male DNA on the bike would be relevant. So finding out that person, who that person is, would be important. But it's the DNA in the glove box that people are focused on, because that partial profile has been linked with essays in other states. I think to lay it to rest, an identity needs to be sought for that. So there was some tunnel vision. There was, first time round, that I think needs to be, tempered this time round if Barry is rearrested. So finding out the identity of the unknown male DNA on the bike, I think, is the most important thing. Now, I would say that that's potentially the person that Suzanne got the bike from. DNA can linger for a long time if it isn't rubbed off. Obviously, DNA testing doesn't tell you how long that DNA has been on that item. So it could easily be the DNA from the person she got the bike from. Similarly with the glove box, although I don't think it's relevant because the car wasn't in play, the Land Rover wasn't in play during this story of Suzanne going missing while out on a bike ride, I think it still has to be addressed. And could it be someone that repaired Suzanne's vehicle, valeted Suzanne's vehicle? There's all sorts of explanations why touch DNA might be on a vehicle. Loads of reasons. But I think to dot the I's and cross the T's this time round, the prosecutors need to be cleverer. They need to be cleverer with the evidence. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. and I'll put the scheduler up for the live stream once I decide what time I'm going to do it and what day I'm going to do it. So it's either going to be today or tomorrow. So watch out for that, and go over and subscribe to Michelle Walks if you haven't done so already, because I put a lot of content out over there. A lot of people don't know that that channel exists. So yeah, go over there, and I will see you soon. Bye, guys. Come on, this way. Come on. Noodle. Noodle.